August, September, we are going towards October. People have gone without salaries, especially the county staff. Madam Speaker, counties are borrowed. And you know, once you borrow from banks, once you pay with a lot of interest. I think as a House, Madam Speaker, we need to have a conversation around this arrangement. Because, Madam Speaker, that spirit of information is being diluted every other day. Because, Madam Speaker, we need to have an express dispensation on the timely disbursement of funds to counties. Actually, Madam Speaker, I think that is the reason why most of the governors would even want to claim that that is the genesis of quite a number of pending bills that we are witnessing. Because, you know, by virtue of having no funds in county doesn't stop the services. Yeah, we have those recurrent expenses that are being incurred almost every day. We have vehicles getting fueled. We have so many other miscellaneous activities that are taking place, and I'm very sure some of these activities are current under the arrangement of we are going to get money. So I think, Madam Speaker, we must get very clear arrangements on how we are supposed to make this disbursement effective. I don't know for what reasons. I think I quoted one of my good friends talk of a visit to Morocco, where we have efficient, very timely disbursement of funds to relevant counties, where you don't have even to engage the national government. I don't know what is the role of government in the whole exercise. No, we have those very independent institutions which are supposed now to make sure that counties get their money timely so they can run the services that are intended to be run. And we expect, maybe, Madam Speaker, once these funds are disbursed to counties, we expect the governors to be intelligent enough in making sure that money is put into proper use, so that the very essence of devolution is being realized. So, Madam Speaker, I strongly support that we pass this schedule so that maybe our counties can enjoy. But of course, Madam Speaker, it's very sad. For the last almost 3 months now, people have gone without salaries. People are servicing their loans, some are servicing their school fees. And it's very pathetic, Madam Speaker, that we have to experience this kind of situation year out, year in. I support Madam Speaker.
Senator Oyomo.
Madam Speaker, from the word go, I want to declare that I support the report on the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. Madam Speaker, counties are distinct governments. It is unfortunate that throughout the period of financial year, we are here always lamenting about disbursements. And Madam Speaker, to me, it is like the counties are on the receiving end when it comes to disbursement. And yet, the law is very clear, Madam Speaker, that there's a timeline that is stated by the 15th of each month. County governments, which are distinct governments, as enshrined in the law, the constitution of this country, must receive their funds. Madam Speaker, the reason that is always given is that these funds are not available. But something else that comes out very badly, Madam Speaker, is that at the end of the financial year, the county governments are given funds at a go. And yet, there's hardly time to spend these funds. Then somebody erroneously makes comments that county governments are supposed to be ready to use these funds. Madam Speaker, even the procurement plans that the counties have are drawn with the knowledge that funds will be disbursed at their rightful times. Madam Speaker, having said that county governments are distinct, it is important to note that we need timely disbursement, and not only timely, but as the report says, the disbursement of these funds must be stable and be predictable. Madam Speaker, predictability ensures that these funds are planned for. And some wise people said, and I believe them, and I know I'm one of them, that when you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Madam Speaker, the counties have various services that must be offered to our people at the counties. Key amongst them is the services of health. Just this afternoon, I've been here as these outstanding members of the Senate discuss the issue of Kenyatta National Hospital. And it is because health is key to all of us, Madam Speaker. For the counties to provide the services that are devolved to them, like health, which is a basic to our people, it means funds must be disbursed to them in time. We do not want a situation where when a schedule is already drawn out and approved, Madam Speaker, then we are treated to cases of counties lining up at the Comptroller of Budget's office or at Treasury. Madam Speaker, we have met the Comptroller of Budget several times as a Senate. I remember the last time the Comptroller of Budget was making a presentation while we were at Naivasha in a retreat. And the Comptroller of Budget continuously denied the fact that county officers always line up in her office in the process of approvals for disbursement. Madam Speaker, this is a truth, that there's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. And yet what baffles me, Madam Speaker, is that the Comptroller of Budget's office also has devolved officers at the counties. So one wonders why, what kind of work this devolved officer of the Comptroller of Budget, referred to as the county office of the Comptroller of Budget, does with the county government throughout the month. Because all they should be looking at is to ensure that the documentation is done at the county and officers do not need to spend all the time at the Comptroller of Budget's office, at the office of the Comptroller of Budget, going back and forth to the counties in the name of going back to get certain documentation. And this is a reality, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is that the countries must have a seamless process of getting funds that are due to them having been approved by the Parliament. Madam Speaker, there are several services that we are expecting the counties to offer in time, efficiently and effectively. I've mentioned health, Madam Speaker. Our people need to get drugs in hostels. Madam Speaker, it pains me when I'm in the village and you have women carrying sick children, or even women sick, and even men, Madam Speaker. When they are sick and they go to hostels, and then they miss drugs in the names that funds have not been disbursed to counties. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that sickness comes at any time. Our people cannot only wait to be sick when their funds have been disbursed. And so that is an aspect of planning that must be done well. Madam Speaker, we want to see our people having water as provided by the county government, as enshrined in the law. We want to have our people getting various services, access roads being done as given in the devolved functions. And Madam Speaker, even in agriculture, I'm a farmer, Madam Speaker, although a small time, but I'm looking forward to getting to big time. And I see the way farming is also expensive. We want our farmers getting services We want our farmers getting the right seeds. We want our farmers getting the right extension services, advice from the county government, because agriculture is devolved, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I support this report, and we look forward to a time when the issue of funds not in counties will be a thing of the past. Madam Speaker, you often hear from our counties in the national news about workers that have not been paid for months. We also want to ask our county governments that they must do good planning, that they know already the number of employees they have, they know the required amounts that they will be paid in the course of the years. And so this story of workers, people going without pay, is not a good story, Madam Speaker, because these are people who have worked for their governments. These are people who have families, Madam Speaker. These are people who have a number of responsibilities that their families look up to them to perform. So, Madam Speaker, I support this, and I want to say that Treasury must adhere to the constitutional requirements as enshrined in the Constitution as per disbursement of monies to county, and the Treasury must also ensure that they do not keep monies up to the last minute when the financial year is ending, because we do want money spent well, and we do not want to have any reasons for the county governments to get into any improper ways of spending public funds. Madam Speaker, I support.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I also raise my foot so that to add my voice to this motion of cash disbursement schedule, which was passed by the Finance Committee. I was one of the members who passed the schedule, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my concern is let Treasury not take this disbursement as a formal. This is a formality we normally do yearly. Let them not take that. It must be a binding document that make the Treasury to be on toes so that they can remit by 15 of every month, the way the schedule read, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the schedule, I realize the highest counties paid is one of them is Mandera County. Madam Speaker, if I take you through the schedule, July, the Mandera County received 993 M, that is million. August, 971 million. September, 1 billion. October, 1 billion. November, 1 billion. December, 981 million. January, 1 billion. February, 1 billion. March, 981 rather. April is 1.1 billion. May, 1 billion. June, 981 million. Madam Speaker, this shows that we are almost the highest figure. The total amount is 12.3 billion, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm reading this because, Madam Speaker, in our area, nowadays there is a lack of water. There is also an issue of healthcare system. Madam Speaker, I urge the counties to take priorities where it concerns the people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in this figure, if they have planned well, we urge that the county, Mandera specifically, that the issue of water will be answered and will be taken care of, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a while ago, we are commenting about the healthcare, about overcrowding of the KNH, Madam Speaker. Most of the referral is from the county, which they themselves can handle. Madam Speaker, that shows that the counties nearby, they are not taking their proper role on the health sector. So I urge most of the counties to prioritize of the health center and the health facilities and the service delivery to the county. Madam Speaker, on this schedule, by 15th of every month, the Treasury must disburse money to the county, because the county, specifically this recurrent expenditure, especially the salary, the staff of the counties, they need to be motivated. One thing to motivate them is by giving their dues on time, because they have to pay their rents, they have to pay their foodstuffs, school fees, Madam Speaker. If the county delay their dues, Madam Speaker, where will they get their expenditure incurred, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, on this, when the county receive the money, let them not to use haphazardly. It's better they have to use priority. They have to put recurrent figure back, not to be used in any other issues. They have to pay their rent, their salaries, recurrent expenditure, so that their staffs can be motivated, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wanted to talk to the Treasury, Madam Speaker. They are not supposed to hold the figure. They're saying the delay might be because of the collection of the revenue, Madam Speaker, by the KRA. Madam Speaker, if we put ourselves in that shoes, it might happen that the county cannot receive their money on dues on 15th. Mr. Speaker, we have to restrict that the latest by 15, the county must receive their due. So whatever the Treasury plan themselves, we don't want to know. The county must continue and get 15th of every month, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is a bill I created. I passed and the House dropped it because that bill is about impromptu payments. If at all, the county also engage in the contractors are supposed to pay on time. So in that scenario, the Treasury also must aware that they are supposed to pay the counties on time. In that bill, there is a legal mandate that penalties if you are not paid the figure, which will be accumulating. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, it has not gone through. If we will have passed and restrict the Treasury, that if it passes 15th of every month, there is a percentage of penalties. They will have, KRA will do all their best. By 15th of every month, they have the revenue, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if I take to e-procurement, Madam Speaker, in my thinking and also my understanding, the e-procurements can solve the issue of this elephant called pending bills, Madam Speaker. Because everything's before done, the procurements are normally before done under the carpets. Madam Speaker, now, if the county engage themselves in e-procurements, and everyone can see which contract has been given to so, there must be also, when it comes to payments, it is done on time. And this issue of pending bills will be done. And also the voiding of payments. Madam Speaker, sometimes the county, what happens is a county requests figure through controller of budgets, and when they wire the money to the counties, county pay different person, Madam Speaker. But when it comes to this system, the system shows that, as an example, Senator Muma, you have that figure, and it has been requested from the controller of budgets. When it comes to the county for your payments, they cannot pay another person. They have to pay you. Because it is in the system, it cannot be pay another person. So that means that this voiding of expenditure transactions will not appear, which always Auditor General always highlight in our financial system, financial reports. In the issue of also these e-procurement, I don't know why counties are against. Because if they are using IFMIS countrywide, why not e-procurement? What makes them not to use e-procurement if they are now using IFMIS in each county and nationally? Madam Speaker, with those all remarks, I support the motion. Thank you.
I don't see any more interest. I now wish to call the mover to reply.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Senator of Mombasa, Senator Mwenyihaki Faki, who moved the motion, I beg to respond. Madam Speaker, I have sat through this debate from yesterday, and it is very clear that all members are contributing on a shared vision. And the vision I see is that all members want a system at the National Treasury that will make devolution a success. And if that is the case, the ball is still in our court, honorable members, in the sense that we must think long and hard on how to ensure that whatever instrument we create whatever instrument we create ends up making devolution effective and efficient. To my mind, we need to now move a bill in this House. And the bill should be a bill to make the National Treasury an independent office. Independent so that, Madam Speaker, it is not open to direction from the office of the President or any other office. Mr. Speaker, the biggest weakness we have today is that the Minister for National Treasury considers himself as part of the national government and not part of the county government. My mind is telling me, Madam Speaker, that if we make this minister independent and provide clearly in law that he will be sitting in the Council of Governors, 1. 2, he will be sitting in cabinet. 3, he will sit on the National Security Council, and that he will not be directed by the office of the President or any other minister. It will be a big step. And until we do this, counties will never be efficient. And then once we do that, we can then say, instead of this ritual, Senator Sifuna, of discussing here how the minister should be dispersing money, which is supposed to be automatic. We provide in the law that the money due to counties, once decided, and it has become a law through the DORA bill or the DORA Act, then it is available to county governments in 12 equal installments payable on the 15th day of the month. A rich country like Kenya cannot be able to raise 15% of its budget which is due to the county governments every month. It collects and collects even more. Madam Speaker, I am persuaded that this will be a very difficult thing to see through, especially with the limited cooperation that we have from the National Assembly, but that is the future of devolution. Madam Speaker, I therefore, as I hope to remain the member of the Finance Committee, hope that next year we will invite the Minister of the National Treasury to discourage him from asking us through this kind of industry where we are doing now, to be giving him discretion. We don't want him to have any discretion. Even if you don't like your governor, you like the people from your county. So it is to your own benefit as a senator that your governor succeeds, because in the process, our people benefit. Having made those passing remarks, I want to urge colleagues, you go and read around the Chancellor of the Exchequer as practiced in the United Kingdom. This is a special minister. In fact, they refer to them as His Majesty's Treasury Minister to the Crown. He is the fourth highest ranking member in government, because he controls the Commonwealth of the United Kingdom. We can borrow from this so that in Kenya, because we also have our own Commonwealth, we have this special office that will be efficient and effective so that devolution, which is the future of this country, can succeed. Having said that much, I respond and request that, Madam Speaker, due to obvious reasons, that the putting of the question under Standing Order number 66.3 be delayed to a later day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The putting of the question is so deferred. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025.
Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate adopt the report of the Select Committee on delegated legislation or its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulation Legal Notice number 114 of 2025, read on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 24th of 7th, 2025, and that pursuant to Section 59.4 of the Affordable Housing Act 2024, the Senate resolves to approve the Affordable Housing Regulation, legal notice number 114 of 2025. Madam Honorable Speaker, the regulations are aimed at making sure that the Affordable Housing Act is operational according to Act number 2 of 2024, and providing the clarity on its implementation by providing the procedure and the criteria for allocation of affordable housing units, prescribing the requisite deposit for an affordable housing unit, 5% of the value of the unit, and providing for deposit assistance. They also outlined the procedure to be followed in the event of default in repaying an allocated housing unit, the criteria for changing a unit, and the provision of low-interest loans for acquisition of units involved under this initiative, as well as the development of rural affordable housing units. Madam Speaker, the regulations are crucial to Kenyans in a number of ways, which I want to highlight. Madam Speaker, the regulations play a central role in the realization of socio-economic rights as enshrined in the Article 43(1) of B of the Constitution, which guarantees every person the right to accessible and adequate housing. The regulations are instrumental in achieving objectives under key national frameworks, including the Big Four Agenda, Vision 2030, and the Bottom-up Economic Transformation Agenda, BETTER, by enabling the development of affordable housing units to cover the 2,000 housing units in deficits. Madam Speaker, these regulations of affordable housing initiative generates extensive employment opportunities across the housing value chain, from construction to manufacturing, logistics, and financial services. It also stimulates demand for local building materials and services, thereby contributing to national economic growth and reducing poverty. Madam Speaker, the regulations as well of affordable housing, we have the classification of potential beneficiaries into distinct income bands, that is the social housing, affordable housing, and affordable middle class housing insurance targeted interventions, allowing for equitable allocation of housing units based on needs and income capacity. So, Madam Speaker, that is not enough. There is also the provision of subsidized and low interest mortgages financing. It's a transformative element of the housing regulations. By lowering the cost of borrowing, the regulations make it possible for most Kenyans to access long-term home financing, enhance affordability, and significantly reduce the financial burden of home ownership. Madam Speaker, although the Cabinet Secretary erroneously submitted that draft regulations to the Senate instead of the published regulations and failed to adhere to Section 59(3) of the Affordable Housing Act, number 2 of 2024, which requires the Cabinet Secretary to table the regulations before Parliament within 30 days of commencement of the Act, that is by 21st of April 2024, the Act commenced on 22nd March 2024. Majority of the committee was of view that the Cabinet Secretary has given sufficient responses to these issues, and that the regulations had fulfilled the substantial requirement of the Statutory Instruments Act and the Affordable Housing Act, and as such, substantive justice must not be overridden by technicalities. And the regulations fulfill the requirement of the Statutory Instruments Act Cap 2A as follows. Pursuant to Section 11(1), the regulations were submitted to the Clerk of the Senate within 7 days of publication. Pursuant to Section 5A, the regulations were submitted to the Senate along with a copy of the explanatory memorandum, setting out, among others, proof of public participation. There was also evidence of the call for public participation in MyGov, as well as newspaper of national circulation was submitted, and in accordance with Section 6, a regulatory impact assessment was submitted as the regulations imposed cost on the community. Madam Speaker, arising from this observation on these regulations, the committee recommends that the House approves the Affordable Housing Regulation 2025, legal notice number 114 of 2025, pursuant to Section 59(4) of the Affordable Housing Act, number 2 of 2025, and Section 11(4) of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 224. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank the members of the committee for their diligence and insightful during the consideration of these regulations. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I wish to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Senate for the support according to the committee during consideration of these regulations. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Section 59(4) of the Affordable Housing Act, number 2 of 2024, it is now my present duty to present the report of the Committee on Regulatory Legislation on the consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulation 2025, legal notice number 114 of 2025. And I beg my very good Senator Romenen to second.
Senator Lomenen.
Madam Speaker, in due respect, I support the motion by Senator Moa Fire. Madam Speaker.
Order, Senator. Who is Senator Moa Fire? You want to...
Senator Kataya. I do call him Moa Fire.
More fire.
More fire. More fire.
Proceed, Senator, for Turkana.
Yes. Madam Speaker, the resolutions passed by my respective senator, the report creates job employment in the nation, Madam Speaker. And then, Madam Speaker, it also creates a social development in our nation. I bring a case study. We have been just hearing, Madam Speaker, of housing. But recently, we met it in reality in Turkana County, where more than 2,000 houses has been planned to be built, especially in new institutions that are created in that area. Imagine, Madam Speaker, we were very happy as leaders of the county to receive such houses in area like Kibich, which is the farthest corner of this continent or this nation, where when we some 2 years ago, Madam Speaker, even police officers, police personnel could not even afford house, a room. They were just staying in primary schools that are not even standardized. So, Madam Speaker, the issue of housing makes sure those who are incapable of getting housing are now happier than before. So, Madam Speaker, it is a reality to respect the Constitution, that Article 43 of saying that every Kenyans have a right of housing, access housing. It is real in this motion, Madam Speaker. And I believe if well implemented without any reservation, Madam Speaker, the nation, our citizens will enjoy the housing implementation. So thank you, Madam Speaker. I second.
Senator Khalwade. No. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 24th September 2025, and that pursuant to Section 59(4) of the Affordable Housing Act 2024, the Senate resolves to approve the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025. Senator Khalwade.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a rare opportunity that Parliament will be speaking on the issue of housing. And it's unfortunate that colleagues are too committed in their offices at the moment. We want to talk about housing because on social media, in the print media, main and alternative, in social joints, people are talking about housing. Why? Because people are contributing towards financing this project. I wish more of us would be here to participate. And I hope that this discussion goes beyond today so that colleagues can share with the rest of us what their thoughts are. And I want to start, Madam Speaker, by confirming that I support the report. And I want to recall that under the new constitution, 2013 to 2017, when Mwai Kibaki was president, what defined his presidency, Madam Speaker, sorry, I'm getting wrong. From the time of the old dictatorship, when Mwai Kibaki took over in 2002, what defined President Mwai Kibaki's presidency were just two things. He succeeded, Madam Speaker, in rolling out free primary education. It was a huge success. It was a masterpiece, and we shall never forget Kibaki for that gift to the generation of young Kenyans who benefited. Two, President Mwai Kibaki was able to practice as much as possible zero tolerance to corruption, enough for the country to be proud of, to be a working nation, and it resulted into our economy achieving an unprecedented growth of 7.2%. Madam Speaker, we shall remember Kibaki. And thanks for this, we were able actually to build the Thika superhighway. Out moved Kibaki, in came Uhuru, and Uhuru, despite the confusion that was around the Jubilee government and all the noise, Uhuru built the standard gauge rail line and went on and built the express highway here in Nairobi, Madam Speaker, plus the other roads that he touched here and there. In comes President Ruto. To me, it is starting to look like what will define President Ruto will be the success of the housing project. And therefore, Parliament, if we want successive governments to succeed, we should help. We smoothen, we file the rough edges of this housing project so that it succeeds. Madam Speaker, I am not persuaded that absorption of the funds that are recovered from Kenyans and meant to construct housing is poor to the extent that those funds, we hear, without serious confirmation, that they are now being invested in treasury bonds. It means we are overtaxing Kenyans. We should just have taxed them enough for us to be able to absorb. It is an opportunity that we should now speak to so that we move from the 1.5 to something lower, so that the money which is taxed from Kenyans, it leaves them comfortable and it ends up being absorbed 100%. Who knows, honorable colleagues, whoever will come after President Ruto might find a slush fund in the monies that will have been saved because of failure to absorb, and then that money is just taken to another project altogether or abused by a president who, after succeeding President Ruto, be it in 2027 or 2032, who will not be sharing his vision on housing. It is something that must concern us. Madam Speaker, it's important that maybe through an amendment of the Act or through these regulations, we should now be clearer on who benefits from these houses. I'm starting to see a red light. You saw when our athletes did very well at, was it called Chan? The championship where we did very well. You saw all of a sudden, they received a gift of houses. Is this the way we want to do it? That money contributed by Kenyans and then is used to give out houses as gifts? If that is the case, how will the people of the ones who vote for you in Mathare, yes, how are they assured that they will deserve a gift? It should not be a question of gifts. It should be a question of deserving. What's more, I saw, dear colleagues, 10,000 teachers at State House, and the issue of housing was on the table. Is that the way we want to do it? Let's think about it. We help the government, we help the president by giving him enabling legislation that will save him from the urge to have that discretion. Madam Speaker, with due respect, we want houses to be fast-tracked. But we want to do it better. Where you are born, not where you come from. You know that in Bushiangala village, a primary school teacher, if you give him one of the flats in Kakamega, that primary school teacher will say, thank you very much, but he will never stay in that house. Instead, he's going to rent it out. Which is a good thing. But was that the objective of affordable housing? Was the objective of affordable housing to be given to successful football players? Was it? Can you convince Kenyans at Nyayo Stadium, at Kasarani, that continue contributing part of your salary so that at some time, when a Kenya does something extraordinary, he's gifted? That's not how governments are run. No. And, Madam Speaker, we have an adult responsibility in this country to say these things. Because if we don't get it right, the country becomes unstable. We all remember when we were insensitive to the voices of the Holoi Polloi on the infamous finance bill of 2024. We almost got killed here on the 25th of June. So let us be sensitive to what the public is saying. I never agree to Wamunyoro. And I find it very difficult to agree with him because of his tribalistic mindedness. But the one thing that I think Munyoro gets right is that listen to the people. We must listen to the people. I saw, Madam Speaker, a survey which I have reason to believe that it is credible. And Kenyans were being asked, do you impress or don't you impress broad-based government? A whooping 70, what? Somebody remember? A whooping 78 said no. 68% said no. That is too high in any scientific research. So if Kenyans are saying they don't want broad-based government, they are saying, let us respect to the constitution. The people in the opposition, Idiot Sifuna, Beatrice, you leave our committees to chair our committees, you go back and play your role as elected leaders on the opposition. That is what that Tifa Paul was saying. Madam Speaker.
What's your point about the Senator?
Don't quarrel me.
Senator Cherargei, please. Yeah. Senator Sifuna, what's your point about it?
Honorable Speaker, with tremendous respect to the Senator from Kakamega, pursuant to Standing Order 105 on statement of fact, I have been more than clear that I do not recognize anything called broad-based government. Yes. I am not part of it. Why does he keep dragging me and my good name into these conversations all the time, and yet it is not factual that I have abandoned my role as an opposition legislator? Can he withdraw that statement and that reference to me? And Honorable Speaker, kindly, for the sake of order in the House, guide Honorable Khalwale that it is possible to just make submissions without every single time and every single opportunity you get throwing jibes at your colleagues.
Senator Khalwalde, that is self-explanatory. Please withdraw.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, in fact, the Senator of Nairobi is more than 100% right. And I wouldn't want to drag your name in mud, especially given the fact that I'm your elder from the community and I have a responsibility to hold your hand the way Michael Kijana Wamalu held my hand when I came to this parliament. By referring to you, I did it wrongly. I was thinking about the Orange Democratic Movement, and because you're the Secretary General. Correct. I know you are very clear, you have nothing to do with broad-based government. In fact, it reminded me yesterday when you were challenging me that you have no idea which party I belong to.
Senator Khalwalde, would you just withdraw what you
Yes,
said?
yes.
If you are withdrawing and move on with your...
Madam Speaker, I want to calm him so that he doesn't feel that...
He's extremely calm, as I can see.
You are now calm. Bas, that's what I wanted. I don't want him to sleep thinking that the grandfather of his daughter is a problem to him. Madam Speaker.
Senator Khalwalde, you are just squandering your own time. Please focus on what you were saying.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Can you withdraw the allegation that Cherargei is paid to harass you? Let's
Madam
focus.
Speaker, but he has not complained. If he had complained, then there would be reason. He's taken it in his stride. The debater he is. A grandchild of John Maria Sarney from Nandi.
Senator Cherargei, what's your point of order? I wish the two of you would realize how much time you're taking off a very important debate. Proceed with your point of order.
Madam Speaker, I raise understanding order 105 on accuracy of fact. Senator Khalwalde has alleged that I get paid to attack him. That is far from the truth. Can he withdraw and apologize?
Senator Khalwalde, would you...
Madam Speaker, I withdraw and apologize.
Thank you. Proceed with the debate.
In our other life,
don't qualify what you have said.
Thank you. In our other life, we shall pursue it with him. Madam Speaker, it concerns me that we have no comparative value for the cost of doing projects. Building houses has a cost. When you just think randomly, the expressway highway was built at 63 billion shillings. Thika Superhighway was built at, Madam Speaker, 27 billion shillings. It means, Madam Speaker, $1 billion is a big thing. And on a day like this, when we are talking about quantum, the systems that the government is using to manage our economy, including the latest introduction of electronic banking, specifically e-Citizen. When we hear that e-Citizen, the Auditor General, is saying in writing that 11 billion shillings is gone. Gone where? When we hear that one person, not two people, one person earns a convenience fee from transaction of e-Citizen, he earns 50 million shillings per month, one person who we know, because his name has been stated. The young man must truly be smiling all the way to the bank. Parliament, functioning as it is, let us stop this theft through e-citizen. Let us stop the theft through inflation of projects. With this, Madam Speaker, if we achieve it, then the housing project is going to be a game changer. As I saw, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it escaped you, a report in Tanzania during the ongoing presidential campaign. The president was being challenged that you are telling us that you are going to fix street lights, that Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, our cities will be lit. And yet in Kenya, the president is building houses. You can see how far we are. So if we push this housing and get it done very well, we'll be way, way ahead of all other East African community economies. Look, it is projected that in the next financial year, the economy of Ethiopia will be ahead of Kenya at 15.6. It will grow, and Kenya will grow by 15. Why would Ethiopia, a country which is struggling with democracy, a country that is struggling with stability, struggling with the national cohesion, doesn't have a good constitution like ours, doesn't have a well thought out, devolved system like ours, should leapfrog us? Why? They go, they do a dam there, we sing in praise of them, and yet we can't fix our dams on River Tana. We wait like we are waiting now when the rain season comes in for water to disturb people in Tana River. Families will be unsettled, property will be destroyed, life will be lost. And all we need to do is to dam the Tana River. You dam it, you make it more productive. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for this nice report and hope that Parliament will help the executive to succeed. Thank you.
Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to be very clear that I stand to oppose these regulations and the report by the committee recommending that we support them. Senator Mofaya knows that I have a lot of respect for him, but I have reasons, Honorable Speaker, why I think that should be the position. I speak as a stakeholder here. I pay over 30,000 shillings every single month, an involuntary deduction that I opposed with all my strength, Honorable Speaker, but was overruled. And therefore, this fund already has my money. Number two, Nairobi City County is perhaps the scene of the largest such construction of the so-called affordable houses. And our people are actually the most affected, Honorable Speaker. The basis of my objection to the recommendation of the committee is twofold. Firstly, it's procedural matters, Honorable Speaker. There is a reason, Secretary,